Okay, go ahead, Bhavya.
Yes, ma'am. Ma'am, so they reduce atmospheric pollution because they take in nitrogen and carbon dioxide, and they leave out oxygen. So along with that nitrogen and carbon dioxide, they take many more other toxic gases. So that's why they reduce atmospheric pollutions.
Correct. So basically, what happens is that in forest there are no vehicles which give out carbon dioxide. That is also true. But then again, there are animals, no, and insects which give out carbon dioxide. है ना, Unmana? Yes, Priscilla?
Ma'am, you said a previous class, ma'am, giving the example of RA.
Correct.
You
Very
said
good.
that next to that is a city. So then there is a lot of dust and pollution like smoke and carbon dioxide. So when the plants take carbon dioxide for photosynthesis, they also take in the dust, making the air cleaner.
Correct. Excellent. So what happens is that, basically what happens, for example, if this is the tree which is there in a forest, right, and there are multiple leaves. So what happens in a leaf is that, there are stomata, right, underneath the leaf. Now what happens is that it takes in carbon dioxide. So there's one thing is that, when it takes in carbon dioxide, what is the meaning of carbon dioxide? It will not filter, no, it will just take in air. Right, it will just take in air. So along with that air, there are certain other gases also which goes into the leaf, right, and it releases pure oxygen, which is like a very, very pure oxygen, as in it releases oxygen. So here the air has got filtered. That is one. And the second thing is that, if it is dust and particulate matter. So what do this particulate matter do? They would settle down on the leaf. They would not be there in the air or in the atmosphere, spreading into the city and then spreading everywhere and causing pollution. It will all settle down on the leaf. When you go out, and look at the trees, you will find the leaves are a bit dirty. They're full of dust. Because they have the dust, particulate matter has settled down, and only when there is a rain or a shower, it falls on the leaf, and this particulate matter will fall on the soil. Then the leaf will become clean. So this is a good way to clean the environment of dust and gases which are toxic to human beings. But the plants are so nice to us. They do all the dirty work. They clean the environment for us. Isn't it?
Ma'am, so the explanation that I gave, was it correct?
Of course it was correct. Both the ways it was correct. One is purification of gases, what you said, and the other one is the purification of dust particles. It does both.
Ma'am?
Yes, Priscilla?
But she said that she's taking in the plants take a nitrogen, but they don't.
No, see, actually, Priscilla.
Ma'am, they do, ma'am.
No, actually,
They take
what happens?
the roots.
No, I'll tell you. I'll tell you what happens is that, in science we are being very specific. But actually, what do we take? Not only plants, also human beings. What do we take? We take in air through our nose, right? If this is the nose, if this is the, I'm sorry, I'm poor at drawing. If this is the nose, what do we take? We just take air.
Yes, ma'am.
Does our nose have a filter? Do we have a filter in our nose which will only take in oxygen?
No, ma'am, but it clears. But the air present in our nostrils, they clear out the dust.
They will only clear out the dust. They will not clear out and take only oxygen. What does air have? Air has almost 74% nitrogen. Oxygen is just 21%.
And
then there is argon.
0.03% is
0.03%, and the other gases are 1%.
So when we take in air, actually we are taking in all of them. We are taking nitrogen also, oxygen also, argon also, and if there are some toxic gases also, that also is coming into our nose, and that is also going to our lungs. That's very bad. But when we talk scientifically, we say we are only taking oxygen. But actually this doesn't happen. And anyways, if any human being takes pure oxygen, it is poisonous. It is harmful. It is harmful. Pure oxygen is harmful.
Hi, ma'am.
See, our body, the density of oxygen is too high. The lungs, the lungs of our body does not have the capacity to soak in or absorb pure oxygen of high concentration, of pure
Ma'am,
density.
how do people take oxygen from oxygen cylinder?
See, when we talk about
Not
oxygen cylinders, in the hospital, right, it is not pure oxygen.
ma'am, they keep argon, right?
Yes, there would be some addition of other gases to make it a little dilute, to make it a little less denser for human beings to be able to take it. None of us can take pure oxygen. Similarly, when we say that leaves, when we say that plants take in carbon dioxide, they are not taking only carbon dioxide, they are taking in air. Air has a certain amount of carbon dioxide in it, it has oxygen in it, it has nitrogen, it has argon, it has toxic gases. And the plants do not have a filter. They take everything inside.
Ma'am, so they also take nitrogen, ma'am.
Yes, they take nitrogen, but when we talk in science, we will not say nitrogen. We will say that plants take in carbon dioxide. But we know that it's taking in air which has got nitrogen. But we will not say nitrogen because plants do not take in nitrogen from leaves. It takes nitrogen from the soil.
Happen like the amount of nitrogen they take, that much amount of nitrogen they release, right?
It is released back, yes. Certain amount. I don't think the entire amount is being released because certain amount is being used up. You will find, roadside, if you see some plants in the roadside, you will
In
find...
my textbook, it's given, it's about human respiration. So in my textbook, it's given like the percentage of oxygen in inhaled air and exhaled air. So for nitrogen, the inhaled air is 78% and even for the exhaled air.
Exhaled air is also 78%, is it?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay. See, what I meant is that when you go to a roadside where there's a lot of traffic, there are cars coming, going and everything, and you will find certain trees and plants. And you will find that, the leaves are a little patchy. The leaves are, they have a little holes in the leaf. The leaves are a little yellowish in color. They look very unhealthy. Why? Because all the toxic fumes that's coming from the car, right, it is taking all those, no? And it is affecting the leaves. It is not getting good quality air. It is getting bad quality air. So it is affecting the growth of the leaves. It might have fruits which are disfigured fruits because it is getting a lot of toxic gases from the release of the smoke and fumes.
Ma'am, can you repeat what happened in the past 1 minute? Like I just got off the meeting.
What I was discussing is that when you go to a roadside, right? When you go to a roadside where there are a lot of vehicles going.
Oh, ma'am, you were telling something about this, like the nitrogen.
Yeah, in nitrogen, Priscilla was saying that, if they take 79% of nitrogen, if a plant takes in, then it would also release 79% nitrogen. That's what Priscilla was sharing. And what I was saying is that, if you see at these roadside plants or trees which are situated on the main roads, you would find the leaves are a little disfigured. The fruits are not fully formed. They would have some kind of a defect. The leaves are yellow. They would have holes in them. They're a little yellowish, brownish, even the small leaves. Why? Because of all the toxic gases that it's taking. It's not getting pure air. It's not getting only carbon dioxide, or might be the carbon dioxide level that it's getting is very low. It is also getting carbon monoxide, which is a white fume which comes out from the car, which is very, very, very poisonous for any living organism. We cough when we get the smoke, but plants can't cough. They have to quietly just take in the air, but they cause a lot of damage in the leaves. Correct, Bhavya, you're right. Nitrogen is vital, but nitrogen is not taken in through leaves. nitrogen is being taken from the soil, right? Roots take in nitrogen. Nitrogen is very much required because nitrogen actually helps them in fruiting. You know, if there was no nitrogen, plants would not have had fruits. So if you want your plants to have more flowers and more fruits, you need to add in a lot of nitrogen to the soil. That's the reason why, you know, you get separate packets of nitrogen as fertilizers which farmers put in the soil, especially leguminous plants. Leguminous plants, you know, they have those nitrogen fixing bacteria known as rhizomes, right? Yeah, tell me.
Ma'am, but as far as I know, ma'am, in plants, the gases travel by diffusion. So it is not like plants can't take all the gases. They'll only take which is less in the body.
It's not that it's less in the body. Whatever is less in the body, it's not like that. It will see the concentration level, it will see the density level, and then it will take. It cannot see now the environment has become such that there is an imbalance in the nature, right? Even if it doesn't want to take, still by incident, by accident, it gets in, and that's how all the diseases of the plants happen, especially in those trees or plants which are close to polluted areas. It is bound to happen. If you see trees growing on the roadside which has got high traffic, you are bound to see trees which are defective, stunted, leaves which are yellow, brownish, leaves will fall off very soon. Why? Because they're getting a lot of those toxic fumes in the air.
Ma'am, like our biology teacher in school, she said that the plant will only take carbon dioxide because it doesn't comparatively with the nitrogen. The plant has a lot of nitrogen but not carbon dioxide. So it will
Correct.
take that.
Of course, it will take. That is where diffusion comes into play. What is diffusion? Diffusion happens only in gases. Let me just explain. The other day we discussed about diffusion and osmosis. What is diffusion? For example, there is a cell membrane, right? And diffusion is seen only in gases, right? If the gas, particular kind of gas seen out here is this much, this is the density, and the gas found outside is this much. So what will happen? There will be certain pores here. There will be certain gates through which the gases will enter, right? And unless and until both the sides become equal, till then the gas exchange of gases will happen. So both the sides, the density will reach at an equilibrium. This is known as equilibrium. And then the diffusion will stop. Saying now both the sides have become equal. Then diffusion will stop. But what I'm saying is that it's not necessary that because this is carbon dioxide, also this is also carbon dioxide will only enter. There will be many other gases which will enter. Because there would be, oxygen here. There would be oxygen here also, little amount. So if it's little, it will also enter. If there is nitrogen here, if there is argon here, if there's carbon monoxide, certain amount of gases will also enter. But the amount will be less. And because after entering, they will not be utilized. They will stay back in the leaf. They will stay back in the leaf causing, those brown spots in the leaf, which are like decayed or, what do you say, dead areas, dead and decayed areas.
Because there's like soil, so the soil takes water.
Yes, very good. So why does there soil even in city? But there's no water flow here. It doesn't control the water flow. So what is so special?
Miss, because in a forest, there's soil everywhere. There are no buildings and roads.
Mm-hmm.
So like when there's soil everywhere, so it's like,
Correct. Partially correct. So what happens is that in a forest, we know the upper layer is humus. Right? And what is humus formed of, Vatsala? What is humus formed of?
Miss, I don't know.
Humus is basically a decomposed plant or animal matter. Yes, dead plants and animals. And they are not like, literally like soil, but they are soil-like. And they have the ability to absorb water. So when there's rainwater, when there's rain coming, right? So what does this humus do? They trap in a lot of these rainwater. They hold on like a sponge, like a sponge, they hold on to the water. And slowly what happens? Those water gets down. So that's known as percolation, because there's a lot of gap between two soil or two sand particles. There's a lot of gap. So water flows like this, and aise karte karte, the water comes down and it hits the water table or the groundwater table. The groundwater table. And this is where actually, water is stored for throughout the year. And this actually goes and meets different streams, ponds, rivers. They are all joined to this groundwater table. In case the water finishes, then water from the river comes here. And in case the river water dries up, from the groundwater, water goes to the river. What is groundwater? That is what I'm discussing. Groundwater, in earth, there is a lot of levels. There's a lot of level. So there is this one level which is known as groundwater, where actually water is stored. It is there throughout the world, which is where the water is stored, which is being utilized later when the need is there. And actually this groundwater connects to all streams, ponds, rivers. It feeds them. All the rainwater feeds them. And whenever is in short, the water inversely comes there. Understood? So basically forests helps in replenishing the water flow. It controls the water flow. It replenishes. So you will find in
the appearance of the forest, like that's the definition given in our book, but I think that the forest, ma'am, I don't know.
no, whatever you said is right. Aesthetic means the good looks, the beautiful look, or the aesthetics, the good features, right? The beauty of the place, the good features, or it adds to the beauty, right? The looks, the good looks of the forest, it adds to that. Just imagine a forest if it was brown in color, if it had, all trees which were like half dead, all the leaves would have fallen leaves, right? It would have filled with insects infested leaves. Would that forest look nice? Never.
No, ma'am.
In fact, you would always, when we say forest, the first thing that comes to our mind is green color. The second thing that comes to our mind, the forest is lush, filled with trees. It has a lot of animals. It has a lot of birds. It has green grass. It has a lot of wild flowers, right? So this actually is the aesthetic value. So whenever we want to take a break, we want to go for a vacation, we would always want to go here. We would never want to go here. Right? Everybody appreciates good looking things, nice looking things, well kept, disciplined things, beautifully kept things. So we would like to go here and we would like to spend some time amidst the greenery, right? We would want to take in fresh air. We would not like to go to a place which is infested with insects and not good looking, does not give us oxygen, right? If we go here, the moment we go here, we will feel so cool. The place would look so nice. There's something called beauty to the eyes, beauty for the eyes, and it's always said the green color, the color green, to our eyes is like medicine. That's the reason why most of the times you will find that hospitals will have green color windows, green color curtains. You know, surgeons, doctors, when they are operating, they wear green color dresses, they wear green color masks, because green is supposed to be therapeutic.